Welcome to This Explainer. Look, exams are literally right around the corner. The panic is absolutely setting in, and yet you're probably still endlessly scrolling through reels. Listen, I know exactly where you are right now because I've been in those exact trenches juggling the exact same deadlines and midterms. But as someone who has clawed their way to the top of the grading curve, I'm going to share the precise, highly practical breakdown of how I force myself to study when my motivation is completely non-existent. Is that you right now? Still scrolling reels instead of studying? It's honestly so relatable. You tell yourself, hey, I'm just taking a quick break. I'll definitely 100% start studying tomorrow. But let's be real with each other. As fellow students, we both know tomorrow never actually comes, right? It's just a trap our brains set to avoid immediate discomfort. But the clock is ticking, and we need a real strategy. We get totally trapped in this cycle of waiting for motivation versus actually taking action. Well, I promise you, today's explainer skips all those boring, repetitive lectures you've heard a million times from professors. Instead, we're diving into 6 deeply psychological, source-backed tricks that force you to build momentum, even when your motivation is literally below zero. These are the exact behind-the-scenes tools high achievers use to stay on the dean's list.
All right, let's get right into it with Hack 1, the 5-minute rule.
So when you have absolutely zero desire to study, you kind of need to lie to your own brain. You sit down and make a firm commitment that you're only going to study for exactly 5 minutes, and then you'll stop. Why does this little lie work? Well, it all comes down to activation energy, which is just the initial mental effort required to start a task. See, our brains are terrified by the concept of reading 10 entire chapters. The activation energy for that is overwhelmingly high. But your brain easily accepts studying for just 5 minutes. By doing this, you're effectively bypassing that massive wall of activation energy. And here is the secret I use. 5 minutes naturally becomes 50 minutes. Once you actually sit down, open the book, and start reading, momentum starts to build. All that friction just disappears. Before you even realize it, those initial 5 minutes have turned into 50. You really just had to trick your lazy brain into getting over that starting line.
Moving on to Hack 2, phone jail.
That device in your pocket, it's the absolute enemy of your academic success because it completely destroys your flow state. A flow state is that magical zone of deep, uninterrupted focus. So when it's time to study, your phone needs to go straight to jail. Lock it in a cupboard, throw it in another room, or literally hand it to your roommate. Every single time your phone buzzes with a notification, it completely shatters your focus. And let's be honest, there is no emergency text from a friend that can't wait an hour. Protecting your flow state is absolutely crucial to actually absorbing what you read. Okay, here's Hack 3, eat the frog. This addresses a huge mistake almost all of us make when we sit down to study. We naturally gravitate toward the easiest subject because, well, it feels safe. But while you're doing that easy reading, the hardest, most intimidating subject is just haunting your thoughts, looming over your head like a dark cloud. Starting easy just gives you an illusion of progress. But starting hard, that gives you a massive confidence boost. You need to tackle the most terrifying topic first thing in the morning when your willpower is completely full. Once you conquer that incredibly hard task, your confidence for the rest of the day will just skyrocket, like a booming stock market. Everything else after that will feel like an absolute breeze. Next up, Hack 4, break the goal. Trying to conquer a whole semester syllabus in one giant sitting is a guaranteed recipe for a mental freeze. Your brain looks at that mountain of work, decides it's impossible, and just immediately forces you to shut down. Like the saying goes, looking at the whole physics syllabus will make even Einstein cry. You simply cannot look at the macro picture when your motivation is low. Instead, you need to set a hyper-specific micro goal. Don't say you're going to study physics. Say you are committing to solving just one single numerical right now. And here is the actual science of why those micro goals work so well. Dopamine is the brain's reward chemical, and it gets released by achieving small wins. When you finish that one single numerical, your brain triggers a hit of dopamine. That chemical release provides you with the exact burst of energy and motivation you need to tackle the second numerical and then the third. You're basically using small wins to fuel the bigger journey.
All right, on to Hack 5, the active recall Dane.
Guys, just blankly staring at a highlighted textbook is a complete waste of your time. Passive reading does literally nothing for your brain. Instead, you have to use active recall. It's a simple process. Read the material, close your eyes, and then teach the concept out loud to an imaginary student. Seriously, act like a strict teacher. Scold your imaginary student if they aren't grasping the simple logic. Speak out loud and physically force your brain to articulate the concepts. The cognitive science here is a real game changer. Long-term memory is built by retrieving information from the brain, not just passively storing it. By acting as the teacher and actively pulling that data out of your head, you're cementing it into your memory banks. This is exactly how I guarantee I won't just blank out when I'm sitting in the exam hall staring at a test paper.
Which brings us to hack 6, the reward system.
At our core, we humans are all a little bit greedy, right? But we can actually use that to our advantage through temptation bundling, which is just linking a difficult habit with an immediate reward. You willingly bribe your own brain. Tell yourself that if you finish a specific chapter, you get to play your favorite game for 10 minutes, or you get to eat a piece of your favorite chocolate. You're essentially turning studying into a game. But there is one strict, non-negotiable rule to this. The reward must strictly be enjoyed after finishing the chapter, never before. You have to earn that dopamine.
And finally, the underlying truth, discipline over motivation.
We've talked about all of these hacks and tricks, but at the end of the day, it really boils down to this. Success isn't about constant motivation. It's working when you have absolutely none. You have to remind yourself that those top achievers setting the curve, they aren't magically motivated 24/7. They don't have some special gene that we lack. They simply have the discipline to take action even when they totally don't feel like it. They don't wait around for motivation to strike. They just start. So, what is the one micro target you are going to crush right now? This is my direct challenge to you as a fellow student. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Get up right now, drink a glass of water, open your book immediately, and put that 5-minute rule to the test. I want you to drop your specific micro target in the comments below so we can see who is actually taking action right now. Let's get to work.